A warm welcome, a very warm good evening. Arnavo Chaudhary here. Welcome to my evening live stream tonight after a very, very exciting evening of football here in the Indian Super League tonight. First up, Jamshedpur FC suffered a loss to FC Goa, a late loss, injury time winner. Borarera winning it for Goa. And on the other side, it was Chennaiyin FC who scored a comeback win against Northeast United to move ahead in the race for the ISL top six. A crazy race in the last few weeks, I have to say, and some of this has been totally unrealistic. But we're still there, we're still alive, and it's still there. And yeah, it's one of those days where I'd say, Sharon saying crossbar challenge day of the ISL. I totally agree. I mean, this was just insane how often the ball hit the crossbar, and we could have had, I don't know, 4-4s, 5-5s, and it wouldn't be a surprise with the other misses as well. So therefore, yeah, brilliant excitement as well in these games. And in the end, it was maybe teams with a little bit more luck, so to say, who won their respective games. And in the end, it was on one side FC Goa who beat Jamshedpur FC, but again, Jamshedpur FC were already out of the top six race. And on the other side, it was Chennaiyin who had to dig deep again. Joydeep says, congratulations, Chennaiyin. Yeah, Chennaiyin, is it again the resurgence of Chennaiyin under Owen Coyle? Most probably is, huh? 3 wins in a row, 4 out of 5. And to me that is an interesting one. Shaggy says Indian players were playing a lot better for their clubs. Some good one-touch passes, positioning. Yeah, I think again we've been speaking about this, I guess, on and off in the last few weeks, quite a number of times in regard to what is happening to the teams, and to me is very, very clearly is that the players are more comfortable to play for their respective clubs rather than for the national team at the moment. I think that's a given fact, I think, and a difficulty which is there. So from that perspective, great to see that these players are doing so well, and on the other side, let's see what happens. And Arnav says, Ankit Mukherjee wants to know your location. Maybe, it gives hope for me. Maybe I should ask for a contract next season in the ISL. Huh? Maybe that's something that I should consider of doing. But again, it still raises questions about the quality. Again, we were discussing yesterday as well, but let's see where that. Joyce says the Mohun Bagan Super Giant match is the turning point of the season. I would even go 2 matches earlier. I would say the match against Odisha, which they won, where they, they turned around and beat Odisha, and everyone thought, Chennaiyin is coming. They lost then to Hyderabad, and then of course the win against Mohun Bagan Jamshedpur, and now against Northeast United. And yeah, that's an interesting one to see. Anurag says, not the result we wanted, but great effort by Northeast. Yeah, it was. But my question to you guys would be, what do you think? Was it something that you say that it was a game that Chennaiyin won, Northeast lost? So therefore, and that's something that we can look into. I don't know. Ishan says Rahim Ali and Irfan were just brilliant. Yeah, I mean, they came on, and Rahim Ali has it in him. I said it a few days ago. He has certain abilities, but he has to get that. He can get a little bit more out of it. And let's see. And Asifu Ramshi, Mumbai City waiting to face Chennai in the semis if they reach. Let's see who will play whom later on. Ishan says, I would argue that CFC won today because of the fight that Indian players showed, which is very rare. that's a very, very valid point, Ishan. I think that starting with an Ankit, going on Jiteshwar, we saw Rahim, Irfan, earlier Vinci, Nintoy, Devjit Majumdar in goal. It was an overall performance from Chennaiyin FC, and not to forget the foreigners. You saw the fight from Ryan Edwards, right? He wanted it. Sirkovic came in. Earlier, you saw um, Connor Shields should not be forgotten in all of this, right? That he's playing much, much more withdrawn than he normally would play. So therefore, this is a team effort. And if you could hear Owen Coyle on the sidelines, then I would say, you know what? Huge respect, Owen Coyle, to what he did again today with his team, because he tried and got the best out of his team, as he always tries to do. But this is something which I felt, which is something which I found very interesting. Shaggy, Irfan Yadvad, Rahim Ali, something tactical that Owen Class did in the last 50 minutes. I think that's been an interesting one, right? That Rahim Ali has been in and out, and has done his job whenever he's been asked to do a certain job. And on the other side, Irfan coming in, he's needed some time to settle down. But I remember Owen Coyle said early in the season, you know what, this is a talented guy, that could try and do something for us. Got his first ever goal against Mohun Bagan, which was important, I think, for him personally. And if we think forward, if we look forward about what's the next step, then I would say that that Irfan is someone that we should be looking at and banking on in the future. Certainly, when it comes from an maybe an Indian football perspective. My friends at Bangalore United spoke highly about him. And that's something. Praveen says Northeast need a good midfield partner with Bem Amer. Yeah, that's one thing. Even though they went a little defensive, I thought, and they were trying to hit them on the counter. And today was about holding on and not allowing Chennaiyin to build that pressure which Chennaiyin built in the last half an hour, especially 20 minutes, 15 minutes, which seemed to break. Today, both the matches were bangers, quality matches with great intensity. Yeah, I mean, also the first one, Jamshedpur didn't need to lose it. It could have ended 4-4, 5-5, 6-6, and nobody would have been surprised. So therefore, a great game between Jamshedpur and FC Goa, and on the side, the second one, Joydeep, as you say, Connor Shields was everywhere. Again, also someone who was criticized towards the start of the season. It's like, is he able to settle down? Is he able to get it? I've not mentioned Jordan Murray as well, who's done a lot of meters in this game. Ishan says, we would like to see Ego do what Owen Coyle did tonight. His instruction, motivation from sideline made a ton of difference. And that shows you the difference of coaches also, right? I mean, and this is not the first time that Owen Coyle has done something like that with a team. He's done it with Chennaiyin in the past. Look at what he did with Jamshedpur. Look at also what he's done with Bolton and other teams in the UK. And that's something, and yeah, but that's something which is football, right? Mainak says Ankit Mukherjee's first half was definitely not good. Luckily, it got a rebound from his need to stay under his control. Yeah, I mean, you have to have that luck factor as well, right? So therefore, Ankit had that luck, but that finish was really, really good from Ankit. So congratulations for him in that. RCB says, after finishing last season, Northeast definitely building something for the future. Kudos to them. Yes, they did make a lot of changes in the summer, brought in Ben Ali as a head coach, and made some other changes as well. And from that perspective, they've built something. Mandar Tamane in the background. They've started to extend contracts. Northeast United surely is a team to look at and to think about as someone who could be a contender for a top 6 finish in the new season. I think surely they will be building on that. Mana says, what a tough luck for Juric. Yeah, Tommy Juric, wow, that was bang on the post and back. We can speak about also about Irfan Yadwat's chance, which Gurmeet was able to collect. So therefore, on both sides, at both ends, both teams had their chances, their opportunities. But what some of you have mentioned, and what I also feel today, it was that it was Chennai's mentality which won them this game. I think that's the big difference between these two sides. That they were able to get that energy across, and that's something which I feel which Chennai had, yeah, a little more than their opponents, and that made the difference in the end, and therefore Chennai in the end, yeah, won this game. So just to before Ishan, before I come to your point about the first game, I'll just look at the league table at this moment, which is which is currently crazy. Mumbai City FC are on 47 points. Mohun Bagan and Goa are on 42 points. Mohun Bagan have a match less. Have played only 20, so they have that game against Bangalore in 2 days in Bangalore, and then the final game against Mumbai City. So for Mohun Bagan, it's about winning, ensuring that they win. Otherwise, Mumbai City will be shield winners. Goa are still fighting for that second spot now, so they have an opportunity if Mohun Bagan slip up in any way. And Odisha at fourth, with 39 points. So look very likely they will finish in that fourth spot. Kerala Blasters will potentially finish fifth with 30 points. Chennai FC now with one big advantage. They have 27 points, are sixth. East Bengal are seventh with 24 points. Northeast United are out of the race with 23 points. BFC are out of the race with 22 points. Jamshedpur and Punjab are also out of the race with 21 points, while bottom of the table is Hyderabad FC with just 8. So, a lot of changes. As I said, at the beginning of April, things will slowly, start changing. Ishan is asking about the first match. Great game of football, but I think Jamshedpur beat themselves. They had so many good chances. Javi Severio, could have had his goals here and there. But again, Goa also showed their class. Noah Sadui, again, I think the pick of the players, and that's something that I think Northeast United should keep the players they have, add a few players here and there. Next season will be solid. That's going to be, I think, their aim, their challenge, I think, will be for Northeast United to try and actually keep this squad on one side and strengthen, not lose anyone to the bigger teams around them. So that's going to be a big challenge, I think, for Northeast United going into this new season, 24-25. Joydeep says no one thought that EB and Chennai will fight till the last. Again, that's a surprise, right? I think a lot of people were looking at BFC and Jamshedpur and Northeast. We had that phase where we thought, okay, maybe Punjab, could sneak in. But I always said, amongst those 6 teams, even the teams which are at the end, and they were often Chennai and East Bengal were the 2 sides at the bottom. The calculations will be done after 22 matches are played. So for me, it doesn't come as a surprise. For me, very, very clearly, it's something that was possible, and again, a late charge, as we've seen in the last few years, has always brought a surprise team into originally the top 4 and now into the top 6. So therefore, I'm not surprised that these 2 teams are in. As we run machine, as an Indian football fan, which team do you want to see represent India in AFC Champions League 2? I think Mumbai City have shown that they are the team, and I think they are. With everything that's happened and how they've built themselves, I think Mumbai City would be the team that I would like to see there. Roshan asks, do you think goalkeeper problem caused Northeast playoffs? We've had blunders from goalkeepers across the league, so for me, therefore for me, it's not a surprise, and therefore I feel that these kind of things have happened, will happen, and will continue to happen, and therefore certain goalkeepers win you matches, certain goalkeepers will lose you matches, and therefore that's part of the game, right? Or mistakes, Satak Guloi could have been, the devil for Chennai today after his mistake. But again, his team turned it around. So therefore, you do mistakes. Individuals make mistakes, but for me, very very clearly, it's a matter of a question of if you can rectify those mistakes, and that's I think the big challenge I think at the moment for all these teams, right? It doesn't matter which team it is, but all of them. So therefore, for me, yeah, let's see which one of the teams are able to showcase their best possible talent in the next few days. Again, it's till next Monday, and the matches are getting more and more exciting and interesting. So therefore, it starts tomorrow. I mean, for East Bengal tomorrow against Punjab, it's about getting a result. If they don't get a result tomorrow, yeah, they're out of it. They have to win. So for East Bengal, it's a do or die game. Then we have Thursday, Bangalore versus Mohun Bagan, where it's an interesting scenario of Mohun Bagan have to win to keep their title hopes alive. And then if we move on, Friday, Hyderabad versus Blasters. Again, that's uninteresting in the sense. Saturday, Northeast versus Odisha. All to play for Odisha, potentially trying to get a better position in there. Sunday and Monday, those are the interesting days. Goa versus Chennaiyin. Goa, depending on what happens between Bangalore and Mohun Bagan, could be in with a chance to maybe finish even second, and Chennaiyin, of course, want to ensure their second spot. While on Monday, potentially the Shield decider, Mohun Bagan versus Mumbai City FC. So therefore, let's see what happens with that. Northeast United need a partnership with EPL club. Again, if it's of value, that would be interesting to see what happens. And to me, it depends what happens and what value do you think? What's your opinion on Mehdi Talal transfer to EB? Ask Roshan. A good signing for East Bengal. Good intention. Let's see, which one of the players he replaces. But Mehdi Talal has shown what kind of a player he is. Let's see if East Bengal can utilize his talent next season. And Jodip says, hoping Goa still feel their strong 11 against Chennai. I mean, it depends, right? It depends on what Mohun Bagan does. If Mohun Bagan doesn't beat BFC, then suddenly Goa have a chance to potentially finish second and then avoid the playoff qualifiers. So therefore, it's all to play for these teams. Sorry. And as always, guys, please do like, share these videos. Also like arunfoot here on YouTube to help me to reach the 1K followers. That's always a request that I can make. Again, as I always say, share the content, not only just the lives, but also look at the videos that I've been making, not only on Indian football, but on German football as well. So do come back and like. Mama is asking who will win ISL. For me, if you ask me personally, I would think that the Shield, surely Mumbai City will win, and I think Mumbai City are capable of doing the double. But I'm a little wary of Chennaiyin. I think Chennaiyin, Owen Coyle, if they get into the playoffs, could be a danger. So therefore, Amal also answering your question, so to me, Amal, who will be your ISL Cup winner? Again, to me, I would think Mumbai City have it in them to win both the Shield and the Cup this season, to do the double as the only team for the second time. So therefore, for me, that surely is possible. Asvi Run Machine asking, I didn't really understand the reason for putting Super Cup tournament in January, EB1, because that's the main team. The reason was very, very simple, is because of the scheduling and the situation of the season, and with now the ISL season expanding into April for the first time. Normally, the ISL ended in mid-March and ended before the start, before the start of the IPL. So therefore, that's one big change. So therefore, for me, I feel that's the reason why the Super Cup was held in January, because we also had the break for the AFC Asian Cup. Of course, it gave an advantage to certain teams who had more players or less players in the national team, more players available, not too many injuries to their foreigners, because you're allowed to play 6 foreigners. So that'll be an interesting one to see. So Mama says, you also think that Mumbai City will win. Roshan asks, who do you think will Golden Boot? Let's get into the playoffs and let's see. I think there might be the one or the surprise still coming. But I've got no clear-cut favorite at the moment who's going to want to win the Golden Boot this season. Jaideep, who's the best knockout coach in ISL right now? Good question, Jaideep. Good question. Who is the best knockout coach in the ISL right now? If you ask me, and I look at the players under coaches performing, then I would say surely Habas. Yeah, Habas is someone that I would look at. Depending on if whoever gets in, Owen Coyle and Quadrat as well. We can't talk about Peter Kratky, but also we've seen Manolo Marquez has been successful. So therefore, yeah, you guys are throwing out names. Asif Ramshin says Quadrat, Amal says Owen, and it said Owen and Manolo. And therefore, to me, there are multiple coaches who have the capabilities and potential to be good in playoffs. So therefore, it would be very interesting to see once the playoffs begin next week, who would be the favorites, who can cause upsets, and let's see who gets into the playoffs. I think that's another point, right? Who gets into the playoffs, and we'll see the matchups also, because I think again, 5th, 4th looks sorted, but 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, sort of, the top 3. Those are the positions which are up, and 6th spot. Those are the positions which are up for grabs at the moment. So let's see who gets into those positions. Mama asking an update on OCI and PAO players. Mama, at the moment, there are no updates from whatever I know. There are no updates. I'm just waiting to see, and I think the elections need to go through before we hear anything on the topic of players of Indian origin or overseas citizens of India card holders, and therefore for me, it will be interesting to see so therefore for me, that's an interesting scenario. Let's wait and see who's going to come in or not. Ahmad says Odisha and Kiwi FC. It will be interesting to see how they do in the playoffs. So for me, again, a lot of topics which are there at the moment, which we are not discussing or talking about, I think will be touched upon once the elections are over. At the moment, I think a lot of topics are there, but they're not being discussed or being touched upon, and they will be looked at once the elections are through, and maybe one or the other change will happen here or there. So therefore, so therefore, to me, on that is also very clear that there are things that are happening, So therefore, let's see where we go. Roshan says, considering the vibes and mood, Chennai with Owen with Coyle could run through playoffs. Agree, Roshan. He's done it. He's shown it. So therefore, Owen Coyle and Chennai, if they get into the playoffs, are very, very dangerous. Certainly, very, very dangerous team in the playoffs. So therefore, for me, you know, so therefore, yeah, that's the reality. Taking up something which has been mentioned there on the OCIPO thing, Archana Das, OCI, nothing will happen with FIFA. FIFA will make no provisions for India. So therefore, forget that. It's not going to happen. It's the Indian government will have to make changes for that to happen, Archana. My brother is captain national team of India under 20 international right now in Mumbai City Club. Great, my. So great to hear. Good to hear. Any update on AFF case in court? No, I don't see. To me, there's no. I have not heard any update in regard to a new date for the court hearing. So for me, as long as I have not heard anything, I can't tell anything. So at the moment, no new date in regard to So let's see what happens. Any news about Hyderabad FC investor, Indian sports? No, nothing. This investment talk has been going on for 3 years. So as long as there's no confirmation being put out officially, nothing has been said or done in regard to any updates in regard to the realities of investment into Hyderabad FC. Abhishek, is East Bengal of players, right? Or if we head-to-head, if both East Bengal and Chennai equals in points at the last match? It's going to be head-to-head, so therefore East Bengal is in. So therefore Chennai needs one more point to ensure their... no, depending. If East Bengal win tomorrow against Punjab, so that's the first point, then they are equal on points. Then Chennai would need a point in Goa to stay sixth. So that's the situation. As it stands at the moment. Moise is my friend, a sector from Spain club from Meghalaya. Congratulations, great if that's the case. Let's see how far they go. Amal says election in the AFF. At the moment, nothing, because that depends on the courts, and I don't know if the courts decides that would be accepted by FIFA. So there's a lot of issues and problem on that topic at the moment. So therefore, for me, that's not a decision factor, a decisive factor. So let's see. Amos says, why India not follow Qatar mission passport? India has its own rules and regulations when it comes to passports and passport matters. So therefore, to say India should follow what another country is doing, to say is relatively easy, but it's a little difficult, because again the Qataris have a certain way of doing it, which India does not follow or will not follow. Let's put it this way, put it very nicely. So therefore, for me, that's something that is not going to happen at this stage, according to my information. So therefore, to me, I think we have to be realistic in what the AFF can do, or what the AFF will do. Let's see what happens. So therefore, for me, yeah, let's wait and see what happens on that front, and it's an interesting one. My passport policy, again, India's not going to do. India's not going to follow the Qatari version of So let's see if India is going to accept players of origin without a dual citizenship policy in regard to OCI passport documentation or long-term visa documentation being allowed to represent India. So that's going to be the big question that we will have to sort out in the coming years in the interest of Indian football. Shumullah saying 3 clubs from Bengal from next ISL League, more strong competitions coming. Joyce, Bengal, Al Hulud. Mohammedan Sporting will have to prove themselves, right? I mean, for them to come into the ISL is going to be a big thing. So that's one, and the other one, of course, is the question of what are the others going to do? Of course, Mohun Bagan already is a top side in the league. East Bengal is still trying to establish themselves. and they haven't, right? So therefore, for East Bengal, again, if they get into the playoffs, that would be a first step. But again, can they do it in the long term? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the challenge for East Bengal. FC, in regard to where are they going, how far can they go? That's going to be the big question, if they want to establish themselves amongst the big boys of the ISL. And the same applies then to Mohammedan Sporting, who will come in. You saw Punjab needed certain time, but Punjab spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time and effort to try and build a team, build a club. And so that's going to be something that Mohammedan Sporting hopefully will be able to also do, and that's going to be very, very important. So therefore, for me, very clearly, it's good that Mohammedan Sporting is in the ISL, but the question then is 13 teams next season. The ISL grows a little further. Where do we stand then next season, and what happens in and around the ISL? And it's a lot of challenge, and we'll see. Mama, good night from my side as well to you. Hope you join me as well in the coming days, and therefore, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and then therefore, it's not always easy to find the right things happening or not happening. So therefore, Shumola's asking, Gopit lost his prime, or is he just having a tough time? I feel he's having a tough time. Again, mistakes do happen. But again, we've seen a number of goalkeepers in the last few days. Yesterday, you had Purba Lachempa making a mistake. On one side, you also have Vishal Kate did 3 mistakes against Chennaiyin a few days ago. So goalkeeping errors will happen, and again, I think that there's something, that these keepers need to do, and therefore, really interesting to see how they sort of take things forward. Aram says you can never write off Owen Coyle CFC. You can write Owen Coyle CFC off. Yes, we've talked about it. So for me, great job, as I've said, from Owen Coyle to get that much out of the team, because one would have thought in December it's not clicking between the coach and the players, and to me, very, very clearly is that that Owen Coyle has gotten more than what is in this team out of the team, and that's something Aram adds: a short goalkeeper, no proper striker, but Owen still makes it. Owen Blue Army, that's the quality of Owen Coyle. It's interesting. It's taking him longer this season than usual. I mean, you've seen it with Jamshedpur; it clicked, but also he turned around. And he's been able to do what he needed to do. So therefore, from that perspective, great job, Owen Coyle, and really interesting to see. Arnav says, I have a gut feeling that CFC can lift the trophy. We will have to wait and see. I think that's going to be an interesting one. If CFC actually can lift the trophy or not, it's going to be very interesting to see, because they played the last few matches like cup matches. Especially, they've come back in all these matches in the second session. So that's an interesting one. They always fell behind and then turned things around. So therefore, for me, let's see what happens, and then CFC surely is amongst the potential contenders for an ISL trophy at the end of the season. Avishit says, I think we need to reduce the game time for Gurpreet national team so he finds the feet once again. Who you suggest in your national team? See, depends on the matches. For me, the problem now is our next 2 matches are going to be against Kuwait and Qatar. Especially the Kuwait game will decide our fate if we go into round 3 or don't. And if you ask me on that front, I still prefer Gurpreet over others. But again, it's difficult to on the other side look beyond Gurpreet. That's another challenge which is there. And then the question is when will be our next friendlies and maybe competitions where we could try out players. I would like to try out Vishal Kate. I would like to try out Purba Lachempa. Give those 2 boys some chances, some minutes in an India shirt. and then see who's Gurpreet can maintain his spot or if there would have to be a change. And that's going to be, for me, the big question going forward with the Indian national team. So therefore, yeah, let's see what we do in June, and then what happens after that. I think that's the big question that we're having. What happens to Indian football in June against Kuwait, and then of course against Qatar again. Qatar, I'm saying, let's not look at that game first, but we'll have to see. Shoma says, in the time full of IPL and cricket and IPL and cricket and cricket, we stick to football. Yeah, Shomolo, great as always. Thank you for all of you who are here in this live, and we're enjoying this. As always, great fun. I love to do this with you guys as often as I can. So therefore, thank you for joining in, and we will, therefore, let's continue these conversations as always, and keep them going. Amma says, I need to change even after the season from Kerala Blasters. It's an interesting call that the Blasters will have to make. It's not an easy one. Ivan has given a lot to this club over the last 3 years, but I think the scary part is how the Blasters have literally disintegrated in the last few weeks. And again, injuries, yes, but a lot of blame game here, there, everywhere, and the club has not been able to put itself together and move up the ranks and do whatever is needed. That's my concern with the Blasters at the moment, and therefore I would hope that that they look at this season and then decide what they're going to do next season. I think they need some changes, they need some reinforcements, be it amongst foreigners, be it amongst Indians, and then the Blasters need to decide it. Raj says, few YouTubers say that ISL is the shit league. What's your opinion? Raj, to me, it's, if you see the excitement at the moment in the ISL, again, one thing which I would have said a few years ago, or no, not a few years ago, I would have said pre-ISL days, I would have said, no, it's not to my liking, would have been the topic of playoffs. But it's the playoffs which make this league so interesting, because that race for top 6 is so, so that's something which I find very interesting. So therefore, really interesting to see which way this journey goes. Not sure, not clear, but it'll be interesting to see how things are done. Ishan saying, what do you make of average attendance? Okay, sorry, I have to click on it. My mistake. What do you make of average attendance numbers of ISL? I think it's fairly good given our standards. I think the point here is, again, we are more than 10,000. I think more than 11,000. So from my perspective, that's a good number, but it's nowhere near the potential that Indian football has, right? So Mohun Bagan, 30,000 plus. The Blasters were even more than that at the start of the season. Other teams sort of struggling with their numbers. We have to be realistic, but I think it's on one side, yeah, it's okay, but I think a country the size of India, the size of the cities, I would think that more fans should be willing to come to games and watch. And there's some teams who have been sort of on and off, and that's something which will be really interesting to see. Amal, going back to the Kerala Blasters, he would like to see Owen Coyle or Manolo Marquez. Yeah, interesting to see, but both of them will be with their respective clubs in the new season. Sanskar says, so I think Odisha vs Kerala Blaster will happen, and lose of Mumbai. Mohun Bagan, Mumbai City will play against OFC Mohun Bagan, and winner will play FC Goa, East Bengal versus CFC. No, that doesn't work that way. Yeah, the loser, yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah, now I read it right, yeah. So the first team plays the 3rd, 6th, and the second team plays 4th, 5th in the semi-finals, home and away. Ishan asking, do you think FSDL will renew the master rights agreement? What happens if they don't renew it? I don't know. To be very, very honest and frank, You know, to me, I think it's vital for Indian football that that agreement is renewed, that the ISL continues to exist, and that the AFF and FSTL find a way of working together to promote the whole Indian football spectrum. I think that's going to be the challenge that is going to be um, on the AFF and FSTL to grow Indian football in the right direction. And yeah, and if the Masters Rights Agreement are going to be extended or not is something which I can't tell you at the moment, to be very, very honest and very, very frank. It's something that is up in the air. Okay, on the Kerala Blasters coach, type coach, not them, or a coach like Habas. Okay, you want someone experienced and with grit and determination. Okay, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's see who the Blasters, if the Blasters want a coach change in the summer. First, that's the first question. If the coach change happens, who would be a potential replacement for Ivan Vukovanovic at the Kerala Blasters? But again, he's given them the ISL playoffs for a third time. I think that's the start. Bro, which foreign players should target Mumbai City for the next season outside us if they goes to play in the ACL? It depends. To me, City Football Group will be in the background. To look at players. Is the ACL really your priority, or is it more? Is it your bread and butter business, which is the ISL? Is that more of your priority? That's something that you need to realize, because as this Champions League season showed, Mumbai City got a very, very tough group, and then you can go in with the biggest targets, with the biggest aims. You will not achieve it because your opponents are too good. That was the simple problem for Mumbai City this season. And therefore, let's see what happens. Raj asking why the Indian players don't play in clubs in Europe or outside India. Simple answer, Raj, is that the players in the ISL and to some extent even the I League are very well paid. So the salary structure in India is very, very high. And with the high salaries in India, the players don't want to really venture abroad. So therefore, they rather play in India than rather going somewhere else. So that's the reality at the moment in regard to Indian players and where these Indian players play. So that's something which is there at the moment. Sorry, I forgot Roshan. Roshan asking, do you see players from I-League who deserve to be ISL next season, or should they wait? It depends on the players, right? I mean, certain players, David either stays at Mohammedan Sporting and plays for them, or he goes somewhere else. So therefore, interesting to see how you can sort of utilize him as a player. On the other side, Rinzwala, the Aizawl FC striker, I would suggest to him to stay in the I-League for another season and confirm that he can play at that level. I liked a lot last season, but he hasn't lived really up to his expectations. Rosenberg, Gabriel, Romawiya, Srini has a few players. So for me, that's that will be those players that I would think that should think about the ISL next season. Forgot the name of the guy, captain of Real Kashmir. He's set to join FC Goa, so there are already some potential movements happening up there. As the new phone rule basically come into force, where there is no cap on no number of foreigners, that's going to come in the 24-25 season, Ishan. So that has not happened yet. That will happen in the summer. The change for foreigners will come in. There's some player in outside India, and the AFF don't pay attention to them. Yeah, but the point is, again, if they don't have an Indian passport, they can't. And there are some players at the lower level in Europe Again, do they have the standard to play for the national team? With most players, I have my doubt. Sanskar, top 5 biggest disappointment clubs in this ISL season. 5 is a lot to say. I would say the biggest disappointment to me, as I said yesterday, is Bangalore FC. I thought that they could be a top 6 side. That was a little surprising. Other disappointments, of course, yeah. I mean, they've done well for themselves, but the way things have happened at Hyderabad, they would be a disappointment. So that's another one. But otherwise, if you asked me in the I-League, I would say Srinidhi and Gokulam Kerala not being able to, Srinidhi at least did to some extent, but Gokulam Kerala or Churchill Brothers not really competing at the top. Those would be amongst the clubs that I would say that have been able to deliver to their realities. Man City or Real Madrid? Why not asking? I would say Man City for me. Bikash is coming to KBFC. There is a lot of players that position in under 23s. Yeah, I mean, again, Blasters will also have to strengthen, and not every player in the under 23s of the Blasters will be able to play So therefore, that's a fact. Akansh says Hyderabad FC doubled the price of tickets for final game. I guess the attendance might be less than 500 on April 12th. Yeah, not a smart move, I would say. So therefore, yeah, Ankit, relegation from next season, positive or negative? I don't see relegation coming in next season. I don't know if you've heard something, but to me, as far as I know, there will be no relegation next season in the Indian Super League. So that's as far as I know. So relegation will still most probably need another 2, 3, maybe 4 years, depending on how the organizers, let's see what happens. That says keeping money aside, if these players play in foreign, this will show their levels and will be kept in bench for all season. Raj, the biggest challenge for an Indian footballer to go abroad is not just going abroad, but finding the right club and going to the right level. So that's the challenge I think that all these players have. If they think about going abroad, it's not just about going abroad, but going abroad and finding the right club abroad who's going to give you the chance to, first of all, perform, and of course the chance of game time. I think that's the huge challenge in all of this, right? So for me, always is for the players, if they even if they're thinking of going abroad, first of all, you have to be realistic where you want to go. Secondly, you have to understand that the salary potentially you could draw is going to be lower than what you're getting in India. So that's another one. So these are the realities. And then, you're not going to walk into a team and then be a top starter. So that's, for me, that's a big challenge for an Indian player. Rajesh is asking about East Bengal chance to reach top 6. Well, Rajesh, East Bengal tomorrow, first of all, needs to win their game, right? I think that's the first. If they have any chance of reaching top 6, they have to win tomorrow. And to beat Punjab FC tomorrow at home, not an easy proposition, even though Punjab FC is already out. So therefore, that's a challenge. And therefore, let's wait and see what happens. But it's not a given. So for me, also looking at the way Chennaiyin have played, Chennaiyin can go to Goa and beat Goa in Goa. If you can go to Kolkata and beat Mohun Bagan, Chennaiyin, so therefore for me, is favorite in the top 6 race after that win today. Wasn't relegation planned from 24? No. According to Mindforce, it's not planned. It's not factored in anywhere that I know of. Sanskar says, bro, BFC, Hyderabad, East Bengal, Kerala Blasters, Mohanbagaon Super Giant, because they were looking on the paper were good side and fall to win the Shield. I know Mohanbagaon are in the race, but still disappointment. Okay, that's your observation. Again, my observation is a little different. I think if I look at Mohun Bagan, where they were in December, to me is a question. They've done well for themselves. On the other side, East Bengal also have done well for themselves. If you look at where they were in the last 3 years, they've done okay for themselves, which of course also raises the general standard of the ISL. I think matches have been exciting, but to me the one point that comes back to me again and again is a factor that is the league really as competitive as we think, and that's something which I feel we need to increase, enhance the competitive of the league. So therefore, yeah, those are some facts which I feel is very, very important. So that's that. Sorry. If Mumbai City FC signed Brandon, then who would he replace? Again, I think it's not Mumbai City's concept and idea is not about replacement, rather about addition, and gives you an added creative player, in midfield and potentially on the wing. So therefore, for me, he could be a good addition as a 10. So therefore, Brandon, if he comes back to Mumbai City, would not be a tough one. Manak says, even a draw against Goa will take Chennaiyin through to the top 6. Yes, and again, East Bengal tomorrow need to beat Punjab FC, so that's the first thing that they need to do. I just asked how to rate RFDL and the youth development programs of various clubs in India. I was speaking a little bit about it yesterday because my biggest concern about youth development in India is what talent are we producing? So my basic question is, and will be always, are we producing world-class players or a cut above the rest players? So to me, if we look at the last 15, 20 years, with a lot of effort has gone in to create structures in youth football and grassroots football and this and that and everything, we are not producing better footballers, right? We are as far away or even further away to the top of Asian level football. I mean, that was proven in the Asian Cup. So therefore, for me, the question is, can we produce players who are better than the current lot? That is it. RFDL is a good thing to give exposure to the boys, even to some ISL boys who play very little to no minutes in the ISL. So that's a good thing. I think the more important program of Reliance Foundation is the Reliance Foundation Young Champs program, which is slowly starting to produce players. So therefore, let's see where this whole thing sort of goes. If some of the franchise teams are relegated, will probably shut down. Let's see what happens if and when relegation is implemented in Indian football. At the moment, there is no clarity. Yeah. Sanskar, do you think because of the battle from FC Goa, Kerala Blasters, OFC is the reason we're seeing the more upset and best points table? See, we always have a surprise element, but to me, OFC is not that much of a surprise element to me because you have to. I would say you have to factor in Sergio Lobera. So to me, the way Odisha has built the team, bringing in Lobera as a head coach, bringing in those experienced foreigners, the one on the other Indian signing as well, smartly done, right? Goa did something similar. OFC, Odisha and Goa were before that rather looking at young talented players. Last summer they went for a certain level of experience that's worked for them. So therefore, they're in the mix. That's it. If you look at African countries where there is no proper pitch to play, but still way ahead of us, and we have everything, but still no result. We don't have everything, Raj. So that's the point, right? We potentially have the infrastructure in certain parts of India, not everywhere. Let's be honest about that. But we have a lack on the quality of coaching and a lack of competitions. So to me, very important is more competitions, the better. But the competitions have to be quality. So that's something which I feel is, not always there. So therefore, these are some things that I personally feel need to be looked at by not only the AFF but the state association, by the districts. And I said that we've been promoting too much of mediocrity in the last few years, and been selling it as, oh wow, super talent. They're not. Shreyam says, now sir, probably in East Zone 4 ISL clubs, Mohan Bagan, East Bengal, Jamshedpur, Odisha, and from that local camp boys, Adamus Sports, getting qualified, Risha Jamshedpur. That's the level of ISL. No, it's not the level of ISL, Shreyam. I think Odisha is still in the building phase of their junior setup. They're not finished. To me, that's one. And Jamshedpur didn't play with, played with an academy team. The others played with under 21s, under 23s. So therefore, boys and men's, they use it as an exposure platform. So yeah, that's how these clubs play these leagues. Sanskar says, why Durand Super Cup same लगता है, format change होना चाहिए. It'll happen. I mean, Durand Cup will be this. I don't know if it will be the same, but it will be as sort of a pre-season tournament. And if next season the Super Cup will remain, or if the Federation Cup is going to come in, it will become a normal European style cup competition played through the season. That's the plan. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's the plan at the moment of the Federation. So let's hope that the Federation is able to create that. That's, in my opinion, very, very important, and as always, something that needs to happen for the growth of the game, right? That competition tournaments need to evolve according to the needs of your local club football, your regional, national level club football, and then sort of integrate with AFC competitions, national level competition as well, ISL cup competition on the other side, the AFC, and of course international football. Satskar, Mohun Bagan versus MCFC prediction. Sanskar, a little early. Let's see what happens on Thursday. Let Mohun Bagan first win at Bengaluru, because again, as I said, if they haven't, then the whole conversation is dead, because then Mumbai City win the Shield. So let Mohun Bagan win that game first. So again, before I come to the next, as always, guys, like these videos, share these videos, and of course, subscribe to arunfoot. If you haven't, please do. I still haven't reached the 1K mark. So yeah, if you haven't done it, just do that. That would be a big help and support. Thanks for that. Raj says, if you talk about corruption, AFF, the main reason is not development, then BCS has a lot of money and corruption is even there, but they are able to produce results rather than giving excuses like AFF. Raj, I think to compare those two would be unfair, because the AFF is fighting for survival in regard to a financial sense and trying to keep the system running. The BCCI has a lot of money to spend. So yeah, this is difficult to compare. So therefore, for me, let's see what they do. Shem Singh, but Mohun Bagan East Bengal played with players with ISL game time and Indian national underage players, but the level was most of the time level in that sports by MS for that matter. See, Shem, our biggest problem is very often in Indian football, that we are in a situation that our level is sometimes not too different. The question is also, players who are playing in the ISL, are these boys really interested to play and injure themselves in RFDL? Are they given 100%? There are a lot of factors in there. So therefore, I don't read too much into it, because for them to play in summer heat at 3 o'clock, in Kolani or in Barashad or whatever, and Noihati and whatever, it's not to the liking of the players, I guess. So therefore, Yeah, so for some it works, for some it doesn't. I was just saying, is Chennai City FC will be revived? I hope it does. As far as I know, not at the moment. Manak, but Stephen, in 2019 Asia Cup produced a much better performance with similar quality players. It really put you under pressure cooker situation. I believe this Indian team is much more capable. Yeah, I mean, again, that team, of course, if you beat Thailand 4-1 in the first game, you have the confidence. You've got something, you wanna showcase that. That's what the team did. And then they did very, very well. And I, that team overperformed. Yeah, but it could have gone ahead. It didn't. Now it's not. Now it's in a sort of in a negative spiral, and therefore, uh, uh, it's something which will have to be worked out. Mohammedan has older club but does not get support. Again, Sanskar, support you have to earn. Do you think there should be a salary cap in uniform? Otherwise, clubs cannot sustain in the system. Rajshi, a salary cap will not work because if I have money, I can work around a salary cap if I want to. So the clubs, even the ISL instilled a salary cap in season 1, but if you wanted to, you could have worked around it. And yeah, therefore, I don't think so. Raj says, I'm from Kolkata. My parents are originally from Kolkata. I was born in Germany. Shem says, what are your views on state league quota for local players? If that, how many players should be in that? I'm not a fan of quotas in football or in sports in general, because I think you have to earn your spot to be there. If you are not good enough, you are reducing the quality of the competition. I think this is something which a lot of people don't think about, which I feel is a big thing. We need to think about is the standard, is the quality really there for someone to be given a chance to play in a competition? And therefore, for me, if someone is not good enough, or if someone is not better than someone else, why would you give him that quota spot, so to say? That to me is, again, maybe you have an answer to that. To me, quotas don't make sense. The players need to be better than others. And in state leagues, it to me it doesn't make sense. If you ask me honestly on this. Well, a little over an hour, guys. It started off, of course, with today's matches. Jamshedpur losing 2-3 to FC Goa, and then later on, Chennaiyin FC winning 2-1 against Northeast United. Two very, very exciting matches. Some great football today. A lot of woodwork. And more decisions. Goa are still with the chance to finish second if Mohun Bagan tomorrow slip up. Day after tomorrow slip up against Bangalore FC, so Goa could still finish second in the league. And on the other side, Chennaiyin scoring a spectacular 2-1 comeback win against Northeast United, and getting back into that 6th spot, now having advantage. Other teams, Northeast United, the latest team to be eliminated, and now it's up there. Mumbai City, Mohun Bagan playing for the title. Mohun Bagan, FC Goa playing for the 2nd spot. And Chennai and East Bengal playing for that final top 6 spot. So that's where we now stand on this day, and looking forward to that. No, I won't be coming next Monday to Kolkata, sadly. Would love to be there for that game, but won't be able to make it. So for me, so therefore, it's another interesting day of football, and some great football, double header in the ISL today. Some more decisions. We are in the month of decisions here in April, and I'm looking forward to the coming days, because again, tomorrow we could have a decision in regard to top 6. Will East Bengal be able to stay in the race to snatch the spot from Chennaiyin FC, or is Chennaiyin FC's spot confirmed in the top six? And thereafter, Bangalore FC host Mohun Bagan Supergiant, and then if Mohun Bagan don't win, that would potentially mean Mumbai City win the Shield before the big match on the 15th. So therefore, two very crucial days coming up for the two Kolkata Giants, and so therefore, let's see where we go. Shyam, 1 points. I don't want to name the club, but a club boasts of best football system under AGF tournament source scope. Is that really possible in grassroots? Yeah, these kind of results are possible, but again, age fraud is rampant. So that's a different conversation altogether. These kind of results potentially can happen, but again, to me, we need to be very, very honest about the conversations about age fraud, which is not happening in India at the moment. So that's another worry. For me, at least, it's a huge concern that we're not talking about age fraud as often as we should be. That's me. Thanks a lot for joining, guys. Spread the word, as I always say. Like the video, please like the video. Share the video with your friends, with family, with others who could be interested, who maybe would like to join into our conversations. I try to answer all your questions as honestly and directly as possible. And of course, please subscribe to arunfoot here on YouTube, my other social medias. Go to arunfoot.com for the latest reports on Indian and international football. And as always, guys, as I said, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be on a different stream. I'll certainly post it on my socials where I am tomorrow in a big group discussion. And day after, I should be back with a regular show on post-match ISL. So thanks, good night, and I will catch you all very, very soon.